it live? Hey guys, hey. My glasses on. What's up, guys? Waiting for you guys to come in. Let me switch this out for this, and we'll see who comes in. Hey, whoever is in here, welcome. Hi guys, what's going on? What's up? How is your Wednesday going? Simply Beyonce, how are you doing, love? Happy Wednesday to you. Hey, how to cook, how you doing? Thumbs it up on coming in, guys. What's going on for your Wednesday? How is everyone? I hope everyone is well. And we're going to start this topic. I'm just going to wait. Oh, you're well? Good. I'm so glad you're well. I thought this topic was on my heart today, so I thought I would cover it. So, welcome to everybody who's here. I hope you guys had a great day and you're ready. I'm trying to fix my camera, guys. I'm trying to fix this angle on this. This may be the best angle, I think. You're still at work? Okay. I'm just going to start. This subject of discouragement is a subject that not a lot of people like to talk about, because it's something sad, but you know, it's part of life. With life's ups and downs, it's just part of life, the discouragement. But I wanted to talk about the subject and give you guys some encouragement. Anybody who is feeling down, or if you're going through a situation and you just feel so low, you feel like you're... Hello. Hi, Vocals 43. Just wanted to check in. I'm packing my house, but I didn't want to miss you. Hold on. Now I'm on my tablet today, so I can add him. Say something again, Vocals 43. You should get your blue wrench. I just wanted to come in and tell you guys that, you know, you're not the only one that's going through a discouraging situation. I'm thinking about starting off with a story time. It was about, what was that, 2013. I started off, I was working at one job. I didn't like the job, so I decided, hey, new person in the room, welcome. I started off with a new job, and because I had to leave the other one because it was so terrible. And you ever start a job, leave the other one, and find out the one that you were at previously was better than the one that you have now? That's what I did. And it was kind of humbling a little bit, because I think sometimes you always think that the grass is greener on the other side. Hi, King. How you doing? Welcome. So at the time, I was going through all of this stress and frustration. I absolutely hated the previous job that I had, and I wasn't getting any support from people in my life at the time. Basically, I had to be independent, so it wasn't... Yes, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just starting my story time, talking about discouragement, and I just felt moved. This was on my heart to talk about today, discouragement. So I just wanted everybody to hear my story time first, and then I'm going to open up the floor, and everybody can open up their heart and say how they feel, or if they're going through something and they feel like sharing and talking about it, you're more than welcome. So at the time, guys, I was working a job that I absolutely hated. Okay. Um, then after a period of time, I decided that I don't have to take this. I could get another job. So I applied for another job working in the hospital, and I got the job within like 2 weeks. So I left the other job, started at the new job, and found out the new job that I got was worse than the job that I had previously. So, what do you do when you're in that situation? I can't go back to the old job because it was one of those things that I did where I didn't put in a 2 week notice. I just quit. So I kind of messed up myself. I put myself in a situation, and I was stuck. So I had like no other route but to stick with this job for at least 90 days and start to find another job. So during that time is when I found out that my dad had prostate cancer. So I'm working, I left one job because I thought that job was the worst job. And then I got another job thinking that it's going to be better, which it was actually worse than my previous job. And now I'm stuck at that job. Now I find out that my dad has, I think at the time he had stage 3 cancer. So I found out my dad had stage 3 cancer. I have a worse job than I had before. And I just felt like I was in such a dark place at the time. I wasn't getting a lot of support from people in my life at the time. And I just felt like I was in a dark hole. Like everything that I tried to do, it was like it wasn't going anywhere. I kind of felt like, yeah, I'll try this. But every time I would try something new in my life, it was like nothing was working out for me. But I got through that period of time by the grace of God, and I found another job. So sometimes when you're going through a situation, you may not fully understand why it is that you're suffering or why it is that you're going through what you're going through. But I found out later that I had to leave the other job to get to the job that I hated more than the previous one so that I could meet somebody who was going to help me to get the job that I have now currently. So sometimes when you're in a situation and you're feeling very sad, very discouraged, distraught, you feel like nothing is going good in your life. Sometimes it's just a season in your life. It's something that you have to go through in order for you to get to the next step, the next level in your life. And that's what it was for me. I had to go through 2 jobs that I hated to get to the job that I have now that I absolutely love. So sometimes when you're going through a situation, like if it's a job or other problems, sometimes you have to go through that in order to meet someone, to grow your faith, to meet new people that are going to come in your life for good or who are going to help you through your situation. So if you're feeling down, you're feeling discouraged, just know that sometimes it's just a season and it's okay to feel down and discouraged. I think a lot of times people want to make it seem like being discouraged is something wrong. Lots of people are discouraged, but it's what you do when you're discouraged. What do you do when you're in that situation? How do you cope with it? That's how it shows the quality of your faith. It shows your strength of character. Things have to get extremely terrible in your life in order for you to receive blessings. I just missed, I only read the beginning of his comments. Hold on. But many people give up when the pressure comes on and miss their blessings. Enjoy the season. Right. So during the time that I was going through all of this, all I was thinking about was me. I think most of the time people forget that when you're going through a situation, you feel like it's all about you. Sometimes this is where the humbling comes in. Sometimes when you're down and distraught, sometimes it's a test. Sometimes you're being tested to show how, hey MJ, how are you doing? Welcome. Thumbs it up on coming in. Sometimes you have to show that when you're in a situation, what kind of faith do you have? You may say, I am a person of faith. I have faith. I believe. But when you get in a situation, do you lose all your faith? Do you now say, no one cares about me? I'm unloved? Not the case, guys. And that's what I was doing. And I think usually for imperfect humans, hi, all in one, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Thumbs it up. I think for the most part, most imperfect, in other words, you are being tested to see if you can pass the test to graduate to the next level. But if you don't pass, it continues until you pass the test. Right? And I think during that time period, I thought, you know, woe is me, like I was the only person in the world. I was the only one that mattered. And I think sometimes you have to humble yourself. Hi, pinch of prayer. Right. Even when you don't feel it. Sometimes you have to go through a situation. You're good, MJ? Thanks for coming in. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. I think you have to show the quality of your faith. And sadly, most people, as soon as a situation happens to them in their life and different problems arise, the first thing that they do is lose all faith. And that's when you need to strengthen your faith. That's when you need to pray more. Most of the time, you don't even think about faith until you are tested. And then when you're tested, then that shows your character. That's when it shows your strength. And I believe 100% that not all the time you're going to feel strong enough to handle a situation. And that's where it comes in having friends that are loving towards you, friends that care for you, friends that will be there in your behalf, friends that will come and encourage you, be there for you, pray for you, show you love and strength. And that's what it's all about, guys, is that you have to be there for others, but sometimes you need to be there for yourself. What do I mean when I say that you need to be there for yourself? That means that when you feel like all your strength and your power is gone, that's when you need to hold fast to your faith, hold fast to your integrity, to know that this is just a season in your life, to know that better things shall come. Sometimes that test is taking you into the next part of your life, and you have to show that, hey, I can handle this. Once God knows that you can handle this test, now He's going to give you your next test. Because if you can't handle a small thing, how are you going to handle the next thing? He's not going to give you big things when you can't even handle a small thing. That's where you have to start encouraging yourself. You have to encourage yourself. And it may sound crazy if you're feeling discouraged. How can I encourage myself when I'm discouraged? The first thing that you need to do is start praying for yourself. I think a lot of times when people pray, they pray for others. And they say, oh, please help them, please help them, please help them. When is the last time when you were feeling down and discouraged, you decided to just pray for yourself? Just open up your heart and say, help me with whatever situation that I'm going through. I need you. I believe in you. I I have the faith. I'm just feeling discouraged. I'm feeling saddened. I feel weak. Open up your heart to him and tell him how you feel. People, I believe 100% discount faith. They discount prayer and what that means, but it does mean a lot. It does mean a lot. And there are times where the discouragement is coming from your own self, your own mind. You're discouraging yourself because you're beating up yourself, because your expectations are up here, and this is the normal person. You can't have your expectations up too high. Yes, you have to have expectations for yourself, but you can't make it be so big that you feel overcome by it. Set small expectations, and then when you achieve it, it's going to make you feel better about yourself. Okay? Hold on a second. Let me make sure. I was checking on something. Sorry about that. Yeah, sometimes you have to remember that this is a test. And you have to keep on enduring. You have to keep on believing in yourself. Because if nobody believes in you, this is when you have to believe in you. You have to encourage yourself. How do you encourage yourself? This is something very tricky and hard if you're feeling discouraged. This is when you have to make sure that you're surrounding yourself by encouraging thought processes. The power the power of your mind is so strong. It's so strong that when your thoughts in your mind, those imperfect thoughts, those weak thoughts, and take you over and tell you you're not going to get through it, that I'm not going to make it, I feel so down, I'm in a dark place, this will never end. This is when you have to remember who you are. You have to remember who you serve. You have to remember that he died for you first. It's not that you loved him, it's that he loved you. Stop and think about that for a few moments. And if that doesn't encourage you, nothing else will. Because before you were even formed, God loved you. And I think that that's something amazing. I think that sometimes when you're feeling overwhelmed and overcome by your problems and your situations, you have to remember that you are loved in every way. You are wonderfully made. And he chose you before you chose him. But we just have to remember. Sometimes you need a reminder to tell you how important and special and loved that you are. With the way the world is set up today and the society, how it's set up for you to just go, go, go until you die. But you're the one that has to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries into what you can accept into your mind and your heart, and you have to learn when to say no. Because sometimes the discouragement and the sadness and frustration comes from when you are doing too much. That's not something easy to take in. Most of the time, you always want to do more, more, more. You always feel like you could do more, you should do more. But sometimes you need to step back for a little while. Step back. And it's okay to step back. Sometimes you need to step back and reflect on your situation and say, I think I need a little time to focus on me. I need a little time to think about myself, care about myself, nourish my mind and my heart and my spirit. Most people aren't doing that enough. I think that's the reason for discouragement. They're not taking the time. When's the last time you just took a walk with yourself? That's one thing my mother did teach me when she was alive. You need to take a walk with yourself and listen to what yourself says. And it's amazing when you're taking that walk with yourself and you listen. You listen to that walk, and yourself will tell you, you need to slow down. You need to stop doing this. You need to stay away from this person and this person, or whatever the situation is, or you need to take control of your health. You need to take better care of yourself. Listen. Hey, Casey. Thank you. That's from my sister-in-law's wedding. When I went to my sister-in-law's wedding 2 weeks ago. Thank you. How you doing, Casey? Welcome. How are you doing? Yeah, guys. So when I was in this dark place, feeling discouraged, feeling, you're good? Resting? Okay, good. Then I was in this dark place in my life, feeling discouraged. Oh, I'm doing good. I just felt moved in my mind and my heart to talk about this subject because I feel like I don't know who it's for. I don't know who's feeling discouraged out there, but I was moved to talk about it today, so I am. So, like I was just saying, my mom always taught me when I was younger that when you're feeling overwhelmed and discouraged in your life, you need to take a long walk with yourself and be in a quiet place and just sit there and listen to what yourself says. Sometimes I think with the busy lifestyle that most people lead, they're always going, going, going and doing, 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 but they never take the time to sit down and, okay, they never take the time to sit down and listen to what their self says. And sometimes yourself will be telling you for a while what you need to do, but you're not listening. So when I started to listen to myself, and when I got back, the response myself was telling me, you need to take better care of yourself. You need to stop doing for everybody. You need to take a break. Once I started listening to myself, step back a little bit, and I've been doing much better. Most of the time, busy bodies need to settle their minds. Yeah. So, you guys know, well, if you don't know, I'll tell you, I come from a very big family. I'm the 10th child, and there's always busy, busy, busy going on. And even now that I'm not around all the busyness, I always yearn for that. I like lots of activity. I like to stay busy. I like lots of stuff going on. So I had to learn. Hey, Mac, how you doing? Thanks for coming in, and thanks for the thumbs up. Um, yeah, sometimes when you're in that situation, most of the time it's something that is hard to comprehend. Most people don't have a problem helping others, but they have a problem helping themselves. That's some truth and some real talk, because people don't want to face the fact that it's time to show up for yourself. Most people show up and show out for everybody but themselves. But when yourself is talking to you and saying, hey, you need to slow down, hey, you need to take better care of your health, hey, you need to stop working so much hours at work, hey, you need to, they're not listening. Hey, Mac, um, you need to do X, Y, and Z. How many times do we, hey, Prince Network, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Thumbs it up on coming in. I appreciate that. Most of the time, people will show up and show out for others. But when it's your time, when your mind and your heart and spirit is telling you it's time to slow down, you need to take a break. I think you need to be concerned about your health right now. How many times do we listen to that voice, the inner person, your spirit telling you, say, hey, it's me. Remember me, put me first, take care of me, love me. You can't keep giving to others and your own well is drying up. Most people forget themselves. Okay? Hey, Tavi Smith. How you doing? Welcome. Thumbs it up on coming in. I'm going to tell you guys, most people forget themselves. And I think that that's one of the worst things that you can do in your life. I think that's when people hit a wall. That's when people feel discouraged and sad and upset and everything else. And they feel like their life is spiraling out of control. They're helping this person and that person, but then they're leaving out the most important person, themselves. You are the most important person. And when you are feeling discouraged, it's time to turn back that focus. Point that finger back at yourself and say, hey, I remember you. I love you, Time to point that finger back at yourself and say, hey, I remember you. I'm going to take care of you again. And listen to that voice in your head, your mind, and your spirit, and focus on yourself, because it may be time for you to go and visit a doctor if you're having some health problems. It may be time to stop working all that overtime at work. You're not going to be able to do overtime if you're not going to be here anymore. Sometimes you may feel discouraged because there's a situation in your life you're failing to handle. That message is for somebody. I don't know where it came from, but it just came to me. There's sometimes the discouragement is coming from you holding in something that you need to release. Sometimes you may feel, hey, Terra Squad, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Welcome. I appreciate you for coming in. And if you could thumbs it up on coming in, and if you guys could share this out on on any social media sites. I would appreciate it. Yeah, guys, so when you're tired, oh, I'm sorry, honey. Well, this message may be for you, Terror Squad. Um, I think a lot of times, uh, I'm not saying men. There's no shade to men, but most of the time, women overwork themselves way too much. They overwork themselves too much. You know, women have to be mothers. They're mates to somebody. They're a sister, their auntie, their grandmothers, their employees. Women wear many hats, and sometimes you have to learn to take off all those hats and focus on you. When's the last time that you did something for yourself? When's the last time you went out and did something that you enjoy? Did something that brought you pure joy? Sometimes when you kind of get, hi, Iffy, welcome. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. If you could thumbs it up on coming in. Yeah, guys, I think most of the time, because I've talked to a lot of my girlfriends and they've told me this, when they feel so discouraged and down and distraught, it's usually when you are doing too much and you're not doing anything for you. Usually you've done everything for everybody. You've taken care of your children. You've been, you're being a good mom. You're being a good spouse. You're being a good sister. You're being a good auntie. You're being a good cousin. You're being all of that. But when's the last time you focus on being a good friend to yourself? A lot of people don't know and understand that thought, that you have to be a good friend to yourself. And sometimes when I kind of lose my focus, I have to remind myself, say, hey, it's me, your friend. Time to think about me. When's the last time you did some good things for yourself, focused on yourself, enjoyed yourself? Most of the time, you can keep giving and giving and giving. And I believe 100%, I believe giving is such a wonderful thing. It's so wonderful to help others and to be there for others. But who's going to help you when your ship is sinking? You have to remember that you're an important member of society. You're important, and you need to think about yourself sometimes. And that's not being selfish. Put yourself on the plate. Put yourself on the map. Start doing some things for you sometimes. It doesn't have to be all the time, but sometimes put yourself on the map. Focus on yourself and do something that you enjoy. Do something that brings you pure joy. And if you're going through a discouraging situation, something beyond your control, it could be your health. It could be family problems. It could be you're in a financial crisis. But whatever it is that's causing you to feel discouraged, try to focus on you. Think about yourself. And a lot of times people don't. You stopped breastfeeding at 7 months with Felicity because it was taking a toll on me, but my husband wanted me to keep doing it. Wow, Terror Squad. That's a lot. There's no shade to the men. I will always say that. But a man can't understand what it's like to be a mother. And I've said that before because I help with a support group with women who have lost children through miscarriage, and that's one of the things that a man could never understand. Because if a man has never carried a child, how can they understand what it's like to lose it? They can't. So I don't think that the men in their lives are insensitive to them, but I think a lot of times there's some things that a man can't understand, and I think that breastfeeding thing is one of them, Terror Squad. So just try to remind your husband, um, assure him of your love, and you appreciate his help, and you thank him for his suggestion. But there comes a time where you have to get back to you. You have to think about yourself and focus on yourself, because if you don't think about yourself, who is going to? You have to speak up for yourself sometimes and assert yourself and say, I've done this for long enough, and I really have had enough. And only you can know that. I think a lot of times people will always tell you, oh, keep going, keep going, keep going in doing something, but you have to know when you've reached your limit. And if you've reached your limit, you've reached your limit. Don't let anybody beat you up about it. Don't let anybody put you down about it. You know when something is right for you. You know when it's time to end something. And I wish you all the best in that Terror Squad. Let me know how it goes. Put yourself back on the map again. That's one of the things that I talk to my women and the support group. A lot of times after loss, especially something like death, um, hey, how to cook, especially something like death, when you lose somebody, you have to put yourself back on the map. You have to refocus on you, because most of the time it was always about everybody in your life but you. And I think it's a wonderful thing when you realize, when you come back into yourself and say, hey, it's me. Remember me. Remember your friend, me. Love me. Take care of me. Oh, you've already stopped. I was just saying it was a hard decision, but I had to do it. Right. And there's lots of decisions that people make, men and women. I've never been a man, never going to be a man, but there's lots of hard decisions that men and women have to make, and sometimes people will beat you up for the decisions that you make, but you have to do what is right for you in that time period so that you can feel good about yourself. So, one of the best things that I did when I was feeling discouraged and distraught, I you guys know I'm big on journaling. So, I got a journal and I started writing about all the things in my life that is good. I started bringing back gratitude for my life, gratitude for myself, gratitude for all the things that I had in my life. When you're feeling very down and very discouraged, you usually start feeling like you have no hope. But you have to remember that you being alive is where your hope starts. It begins and ends with you. So remind yourself about how special and important and wonderful and loved you are. Get back to yourself. Start doing the things that you enjoy again. Do some things that bring you joy and happiness. because there's nothing like it. You can give and give and give and give to others, but there's nothing when you start to give to you again, when you start feeling good about yourself. And all those things are different for everyone else. Everybody enjoys something different. So get back into. Oh, thank you so much, Iffy. I appreciate you. We all have to get back to ourselves. And I believe that a lot of times when you're feeling discouraged is when you've gotten away from doing things for you, for caring for you, for loving you. And sometimes you need a friendly reminder. You need a reminder that, hey, it's me. I love me. Hey, friend, I'm going to take care of you again. Hey, friend, you matter and you're important and you're special and you're wonderful and you're a gift and you're a blessing. You got to remind yourself of that sometimes. Remind yourself of how wonderful and special you are. And no matter what you're going through and no matter what situations that you're facing, you will get through it. No matter if you feel, sometimes you may feel very unsure. I don't know if I'm going to get through this. I can't get through this. I've hit a wall. Nobody is here for me. I'm facing this test. Hey, Trisha's motivational moment. How are you doing? Hi, welcome. Thumbs it up on coming in. Thank you so much. Hey, Maggie Vlogs. How are you doing? Thanks for coming in. I think that's what worked for me, and I hope that this situation, these thoughts that I'm giving you and these tips, it will help even one person. If it just helps one person, that's what I say every video. If it just helps one person, what I'm saying, I feel like my job is done. When you feel like you hit a wall, when you feel very down, very discouraged, feel like all your hope and your faith is gone, this is when you have to start remembering you. Yeah, my dad used to always say, you have 4 fingers, but remember, there's always one pointing back at you. You can always point fingers at everybody else. Remember to point a finger back at yourself and say, hey, it's me. Hi, me. Be a friend to yourself again. And if you've never been a friend to yourself, it's always a good day to start. Start new. Start today and say, I'm going to be a friend to me now. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to treat me the way that I deserve to be treated. Loved, special, wonderful. I'm going to take the time to head to the gym. I'm going to eat healthy foods. I'm going to take time to nourish my mind and my heart and my spirit. I'm telling you guys, take that long walk with yourself. If you haven't done it yet, start tomorrow. Start today if you can. Take that long walk with yourself. I think that's one of the best things my mother ever taught me when she was alive. She said, I got so discouraged last week with a lot, but I prayed and went to church this week and I'm feeling better. That's what I'm talking about. When you're feeling discouraged and distraught, that's one of the biggest devices of the devil. He loves discouragement. He loves it, loves it, loves it. It makes him feel so good. He says, yes, I've conquered them. I've conquered them. They're feeling down and sad and weak. I have them just where I want them. But that's when your strength, when you feel like your strength is at 0, you have nothing, that's when you hold on to your faith and say, God, I don't have it in me. I'm going to need for you to supply it. I'm going to need your spirit right now because my spirit is so weak. And trust me, He is faithful to give you that strength, that encouragement, that love, that support. Yes, that's when your faith comes in. I feel like a lot of times when you're feeling down and discouraged, you always feel like you are trying to handle it yourself. No, no, no. Do not try to handle tough and difficult situations on your own. And I know that's the natural inclination of imperfect humans. We want to try to handle and take care of things on our own. And of course, that's when the discouragement is going to come, because you are not able to handle everything. He doesn't want us to handle everything. Some things are just for Him alone to handle. So give it to Him. Give it to Him, and don't take it back. Say, I'm giving this to you because this is too much for me to handle. This is too much for me to handle. And give it to Him in full faith. And don't take it back. Don't say, I'm giving this to you, and then you take it back and try to handle it again. Don't do that. Have full faith and believe. One of the biggest things, one of the biggest and most difficult things in life is learning that you can't handle everything. And that's so hard, because being a human being, you feel like you're strong enough, you're tough enough. I can handle this. No. And that's where this discouragement comes along. That's where the discouragement, the depression, that's where all of that comes in. It all comes in then, because you're trying to handle what it is impossible for you to handle, because no one can handle everything. No one. You need to hold on to your faith, whatever faith that is that you have. And you need to take some time to readjust, to refocus back on you. Focus on loving yourself again and taking care of yourself, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to take care of ourselves. But because of the busy society that we live in today, you used to be in control. Not know. Oh, I thought I was frozen. Wait a minute. I think it's frozen. Oh, it's back. Good. I think a lot of times is that we have to remember in our mind that yes, we have to do things to take care of ourselves, because we are given free will to do what it is that we want. But when we get into situations or things that's bigger than us, that's why we have to remember our faith. Hi, Irish Train King. Welcome. Thanks for coming in. If you could thumbs it up on coming in, I would appreciate that. And that's why we have to remember ourselves in the process. We have to remember that whatever discouraging thing that we're going through, whatever it is, whether it's your health and you are dealing with a chronic illness, being in pain all the time, it's a terrible thing. I know. It's terrible, and it's hard to handle it. And sometimes you feel discouraged because your body is not doing what you want it to do. And that's discouraging. Or it could be, you could be in a financial crisis. You have you have a need for money and you don't have it. That can be very discouraging, because everybody always wants to provide and take care of themselves. I don't know anybody who doesn't want to take care of themselves. So that could be a reason for discouragement. Or another reason for discouragement is stress in your life. You could be dealing with situations in your family that is not favorable. That can be very discouraging, very disheartening. Another situation could be your job. You're under a lot of pressure at your job to be able to handle things, and You just, I know how it is. You just feel like at your job, you just more and more and more. They want more and more and more, and they pay you less, less, less. Yeah, it's hard. It's difficult to take care of yourself and also take care of you. But any situation that you're going through, any problem that you're having, hold on to your faith. Remind yourself of your faith. Renew your faith and your strength. And you're going to see how much better that you're. Hey, Sherry, weight loss. Thank you, Maggie Vlogs. Um, I just pray for everyone. Especially those who are in a dark place in their life. I'm not in a dark place anymore. Thank you, Lord. But for any who are in a dark place in their life right now, my prayer is with you, for strength and love and light and blessings to come into your life. One of the biggest things that you can do to help you with discouragement is that you have to speak love and light and peace and happiness and positivity into your life. And I know when you are feeling down and you're feeling discouraged, how do you possess what you don't have? And that's when you have to remember who you were from the beginning. Remember how wonderful. You have to awaken that within yourself. You have to renew your spirit and your strength so that you can have that mental clarity. Because if you guys don't know, your mind has so much power. Your mind has so much power. The things that you think about, it controls your physical body. It also controls your spirit. Because when your spirit feels weak, you ever notice that's when you feel so tired? You're tired, you're sad, you're weak, you're unhappy. So when you put those positive thoughts in your mind of how wonderful you are and how you can get through any situation or trial, that it is a test and it too shall pass. When you remind yourself of that, there's nothing that you can't tackle. Nothing. There is nothing. Because when you know that you're going to get through it on the other side, you can handle anything. You can handle it. Because you are here for a reason and you have a purpose. And it's really important to have people in your life that tell you that remind you of how wonderful and special and important you are, and that you're a blessing and you have something to give the world. It's important to have people like that in your life. And if you don't have people like that in your life, try to find one person. That's all you really need. You only need to have one person in your life to help you. And you tell that person, and then they tell you, and you tell them, and they tell you. It's a circle of love and light. It's a circle to encourage one another and say, hey friend, I just wanted to tell you today how wonderful you are and how special you are, and you bring light into my life, and you matter to me. I think sometimes that when you're going through a situation and you feel very discouraged, very sad, very distraught, like you've hit a wall, when you tell somebody, or when somebody tells you how much you matter to them and that they'll get through whatever trial or obstacle they're facing, and how wonderful they are and how much they matter, that makes such a world of difference. I'm telling you that it brings tears to my eyes. I'm very fortunate that I have a wonderful circle of women that I love dearly and that love me dearly. And we continuously spread love and light to each other. that I know that there's lots of discouraging things. Hold on a second, guys. Okay. There's lots of discouraging things out there, but what are the things that you think about? What are the things that you talk about? Because you are what you think about and talk about. So start focusing your thoughts on positive things. Start talking about wonderful things, about how you're going to do something that you've always been meaning to do. Focus on those good things. Talk about how, whatever it is, whatever your good quality is, focus on that. Talk about that. Speak that love and light into your life, into your mind and heart, and let it encourage you. Let it motivate you to keep going. Because even if you can't control what's going on the outside, you sure can control what's going on in here. Nobody can stop this. Okay? Even though people try, people can say mean things, people can be very hurtful, people can not be there for you, and that can be discouraging. But what nobody can stop is what you think about yourself up here. Nobody can stop that. And most of the time when you're feeling discouraged is when you need to remind yourself. Everybody needs a reminder once in a while. So gain a group of supportive people, even or one person. If you can't have a circle of supportive people, at least have one person every day that comes in and brings some light into your mind and your heart. At least one person. Have one person every day to say, I love you. You're important. You're special. You matter. You bring joy into my life. You're going to do great things. You will get through this test. You matter to me. You're important. You're a gift to the world. You're a blessing. Those are the kinds of things that we need to hear. Anytime when you're feeling discouraged, that is what you need to hear. And those are the things that you need to feed your mind when you're feeling down. That I'm going to get through this, that it's a test, and I'm going to be faithful and loyal to this test because my strength doesn't come from here. Okay? Your strength comes from above. And sometimes you need a reminder of that. Sometimes you need to be reminded of even your difficulty, that you too shall rise. You shall rise to a better situation, a happier situation, a more joyful situation. But what you start hearing your mind, the things that you tell yourself up here, that's what's going to do a mind shift. The power of your mind, guys. It's something very big. It has so much power, your mind. If you keep feeding into yourself that I'm stupid, I'm awful, I'll never get through this, I'm a terrible person, I have no friends, nobody cares about me, people hate me, if you keep feeding yourself that, you become what you eat. And if you keep eating negativity, okay, that's what you're going to become. So don't feed yourself negativity. It's enough there on the outside. It's enough negativity on the outside. So start focusing every day. I'll give you guys a challenge. Start every day by focusing on something positive about yourself. When you wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, beautiful one, you are remarkable. I thank you for you. I thank you for you because you're so special and you're so important and you're so loving. and you bring light into the world. Remind yourself of your love and your light for yourself and how you can get through any obstacle and any test. It doesn't matter what's going on the outside. It doesn't matter what's going on the outside. What matters is what's going on up here. And if you're feeling down up here, just a friendly reminder that you have to remind yourself that you're special and important and loved. And everybody needs reminders from time to time. I need reminders from time to time. When I'm going through a hard time, the first thing that comes to my mind is, oh, I'm never going to get through this. And that's when you have to do a mind shift. And as soon as that comes to my mind, I'm never going to get through this, I rebuke it. And I said, stop right there. I will get through this. And I'm going to get through it. And then I have to thank myself. I have to thank God when I do get through it. Because when you say, I'll never get through it, but then when you get through it, are you thankful? Do you remind yourself, hey, I thought I wasn't going to get through that. And look at there. I did. And say thank you. A lot of times we don't remember to say thank you when we passed a test and a trial. When we said, I'll never get through this. I'm never going to be able to handle this. This is too much for me. And then when you pass it, look back. I hope you guys are journaling about your life so that when you pass your test and you pass your obstacle, that you can say, hey, I remember when I was going through this test and now I've passed it and now I'm successful and I made it through and I came out on the other side victorious. Remind yourself of that. Hey, Ezekiel, how are you doing? Welcome. Thanks for coming in. Sometimes you have to remind yourself of this because the fact is, guys, that a lot of times you can't hear me? Well, my volume is all the way up. I don't know. Is that everybody? Nobody can hear me? Okay. Sometimes when you're going through a situation and a test, you need to remind yourself. Oh, you muted it. Okay, no problem. That's just what I had on my mind and my heart to tell you guys, that when you're going through disappointments and discouragement, when you feel like people aren't there for you, they're not showing up for you like you show up for them, guys, it's okay. The natural tendency of imperfect humans is, you want to know why. Why is it that they didn't show up for me? Why weren't they there for me when I needed them? No. Don't concern yourself with that. Don't focus on that, because the ones that are supposed to be there for you, they will. And sometimes the reason why they can't show up and be there for you is because they themselves are not in a good place themselves. You can't show up and show out for somebody when you yourselves are at zero. You can't give negatively. You can't give when you're at zero. What do you have to give? You have nothing to give. So sometimes we feel, why weren't they there for me? I'm there for them. And it's very frustrating. But don't be frustrated. Don't be frustrated with them. Forgive them. Forgive them. And love them. Forgive them and love them. It's okay. Because who's supposed to be there for you will be there for you. And if you're going through it and saying, well, nobody is there for me. Guess what? The only person that you need to be there for you is you. It's okay. Sometimes you have to realize that you're enough. You are enough to get through your situation and your difficulty. You don't need anybody to get you through it. We all want, don't get me wrong, we all want people to be there for us. There's not anybody who doesn't want people to be there for them. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes there's certain things and tests that is only for you and you alone. You want people to be there for you, but this road that you're traveling is only for you. So you want people to be there to walk down this test with you, but this test is for you and for you alone. And think about that and meditate on that for a while. I had to chew on that for a while and think about it. I didn't understand why people weren't there for me. And then I had to realize that this may just be my road to travel and for me alone. It's a trip. You have to think about those things that you don't understand. You don't understand why it's going the way that it's going. But sometimes that is the reason. Some things is just for you. Some tests are just for you to handle alone. And that's just facts, guys. I'm telling you guys what I've walked in and what I'm still walking in. There's certain tests, certain walks of faith that is just for you. And you may want people to be there for you and you're mad and you're angry. Do you think they care? Nobody cares that you're mad and upset and frustrated. So let those things go. Let those things go. Forgive them. Forgive them. Bless them. Tell them, I forgive you. It's okay. This is my road to walk. And I'm going to walk it victoriously. Not just walk it. I'm going to walk it victoriously. So, guys, that's what I had on my mind and my heart to tell you guys. And I hope that this message encouraged you and blessed you. And I pray that for everyone. And I hope that you have love and light into your life. And remember how much you matter and how important you are. Don't give up. Life is a long road full of difficulties. And if life isn't going the way you want it right now, it doesn't mean your life won't improve later on. Just don't give up. Those are my words, guys. To not give up. Hey, Jeffrey. I was just about to come off. But thanks for coming in. I appreciate you for coming in. I appreciate everybody who came in and showed up for me and thumbs it up and told me their thoughts. I pray for everyone, and I hope you guys have a great evening. And as always, as I always say all the time, you guys can always send me an email. And I'm going to be getting my P.O. box soon. So soon I'm going to have a P.O. box and you guys could send me mail. But I'm always there for you guys. If you guys ever want to talk, send me a message. And I will always send you guys something back encouraging because you guys matter to me.